Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, and to the Chair, and thank you, Chairman Powell, for being here. We have 4 minutes. I've got 3 questions I want to try to get through, one on the CRA, one on venture capital, and one on climate change. The first one on the CRA, as we've talked about, is very important to me. I know recently that the Feds and the Office of the Comptroller Currency and the FDIC have all been working on a proposal to revamp that 1977 CRA Act. It is my understanding that they wanted to do a joint, but we're not sure if one of the agencies would go alone. CRA is very important to me and to my 3rd congressional district in Ohio, like across the nation, because of the resources it puts back into communities, and more importantly, minorities communities tend to benefit. Do you have any insight on knowing where they are or if they're working together and will be able to meet that end of the year goal?
So we strongly support the mission of CRA, which is to assure credit availability in the areas that banks serve, particularly low and moderate income communities. We think it's a good time to modernize given technological developments and all kinds of other developments. We've been working very, very hard with the other 2 bank agencies to try to find common ground, and we're committed to making sure this reform actually puts us in a better place to serve the intended beneficiaries of CRA. We haven't quite gotten there yet. We're going to keep trying, though, and my hope is that we will ultimately be able to come together with a common answer, which I think would be better for everyone if we can do that.
Okay. My next question is, the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco recently held a conference entitled The Economics of Climate Change, and I believe this was the first ever conference by the Feds on climate change and the economy. Can you discuss how the Federal Reserve views the impact of climate change on our economy and monetary policy, and how the Fed's views have evolved over time?
So I guess I would say climate change is an important issue, but not principally for the Fed. It's really an issue that's assigned to lots of other government agencies, not so much to the Fed. Nonetheless, over time, it can affect us in some ways, which I'll mention. One just is that we require financial institutions and financial market utilities, the large utilities that are so fundamental to the financial system, we require them to be resilient against all kinds of things, including severe weather. There's a link between severe weather and climate change. So in a sense, we're already, to the extent severe weather is becoming more common, we're already incorporating that into our supervision. And we'll have to think ahead. We're doing a lot of research in this area to think ahead about sort of from a risk management perspective. Our perspective is we're not going to be the ones who decide society's response to, that's going to be elected legislatures, not us. In terms of monetary policy, it doesn't have any near-term implication for monetary policy. Over time, climate change could have effects, but it's not something that we'd be considering.
Okay.
Now.
And only because of my time, my last question is, there was a 2018 report by Price Waterhouse that found that 80% of the venture capital investments went to just 4 states, California, New York, Massachusetts, and Texas. I'm from the great state of Ohio. And so I guess my question is, startups throughout the rest of the country, especially the Midwest, are overlooked. Are there any thoughts on the fact that an overwhelming majority of the venture capital is going to 4 states? What effect is this having on the regions like the Midwest?
I'd have to look at that study. I think, a company that's in San Francisco can invest in a company that's in Ohio, though. So I would hope that they're not just investing in companies in San Francisco, but...
So we should maybe look at some partnerships and how that works.
I do think, many of the successful companies in which venture capital firms invest are not located in those areas. Some of them are, but some are located anywhere in the country, really, where they're entrepreneurs.
Okay. Thank you.